Welcome to the basement. Hello, everybody. How are you? How's your November 1st going? Mine's going great because today is a Josh Allen Tuesday. The starting quarterback for the Buffalo Bills and the MVP frontrunner will be coming on the show shortly. As I always say, he is in the green room. He's hanging. He's having some JA-17 blend. That is his coffee. We will have his thoughts on beating Aaron Rodgers, the atmosphere in Buffalo. It is New York Jet Week. Division game. We'll have Bills-Jets talk. Also, we will get his review of 1980 Stanley Kubrick movie, The Shining, which Josh watched. It came out 16 years before he was born. And we'll find out what he thought about it. He's coming in shortly. He's hanging out right now. I can hear him. And we'll get into all that kind of talk. TJ Hawkinson is a Viking? This just happened. What a day for TJ Hawkinson. That's amazing. He stays in the division. He goes from one of the worst teams in the league to one of the best. Like, he just jumps right in there with Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook. That is a big, big upgrade for him. And also, I really like it for Minnesota. They've been trying to get something going at the tight end position for a while. Irv Smith Jr. has been their guy, and either been on the field, off, injured, whatever. He just hasn't ever turned into this consistent playmaker. It just hasn't happened. Hawkinson is a big, big talent. And also tells me Detroit's just getting ready for the draft. They're getting rid of him. So Vikings, that's a big deal. That could be a big catch from Hawkinson in a playoff game, can make a difference between them winning and losing. I like that one. I like when the good teams aren't satisfied. Like, I think we can get just a little bit better. Lots of stuff to do, though. I told you we're going to talk about the team that just can't figure itself out. That's really frustrating me. We're going to talk about the guy who is super, super, super extra on Halloween. He also played last night. But let's do it. Let's go to the Ben Wallace cam. That is the new name for this. I still haven't mounted the guy properly. I should probably do that. But Ben Wallace standing by. Let's see if I can hit a little free throw for Ben. One of the worst free throw shooters of all time. One of the greatest personalities. I like to say it about myself. Yes, sir! Bang, 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 bang. I love you, Ben. That's how you start the show, Josh Allen Tuesday. But first, let's talk about what I love, what I hate, and what's hilarious. Bang! All right, to my day ones out there, my day ones in the Kyle Brandt's basement, you recognize this. This is a bottle of wine. It's in my house, so it's empty. It is a Pinot Noir, 2019 La Crema Pinot Noir, Sonoma Coast. This is what my wife and I like very much on the weekends, especially her. She can't get enough of it. And I took this bottle, this exact bottle, after week 1 in the NFL. And you guys sent me all of your thoughts and all of your predictions and all of your takes after 1 week. And I said I will open them later in the season, all right? And we will see how they age. Do they age like wines? You get it? We have a whole thing we're doing here. And we'll just check them out. We're gonna unveil them today. We're going to break them out. I already opened up the cork. I wrote them down on these stupid little pieces of paper, shoved them in there for 2 months. As it turns out, there was some wine left in this thing. And so they kind of just soaked into the paper and fermented and maybe molded or something. It's gross. I don't care. I took a pencil. I dug them out of there, and I've got them. We're going over them right now, and this is what I love. Let's get after it, guys. I took them all. These are from you, and they got a couple from me. Let's see how they're doing, and maybe we'll make some new ones for the end of the season. First up, one of my guys here. One of my guys came in. This guy's name is, what's the first one up? Just bring up the tweets, my friends. My Good Morning, not Good Morning Football, Kyle Brandt's basement. Macaroni, that's his name. Okay, Dallas will go 10-7 and still make the playoffs. This looks pretty good, Macaroni. Let's just remember, Dak Prescott hurts his hand week 1 against Tampa. Imagine that. They thought after week 1, oh, Tampa's set, Brady, blah, 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 Cowboys. We had a conversation, Good Morning Football. Uh-oh, that's not supposed to be on. There. We had a conversation, Good Morning Football. Is the Cowboy season just over? We straight up asked the question because we were reactionary fools. But so they lost. And now here they are all these months later, and they're doing really well. They went through the Cooper Rush thing, which was beautiful. They lost 19-3 in that game. And yet Macaroni, this was considered outlandish. 10-7 and still make the playoffs. Now the outlandish part is that it looks like the Cowboys are going to finish better than 10-7. So Macaroni, you're my man. Bring us another one. Or a woman, I'm not sure. I guess Macaroni could be anything. Let's go to the next one, though. Will Parkinson. A friend of mine. All right. Will says the Jets will still start 3-5 and be playing at Miami Week 18 at 8-8 on the In the Hunt graphic with a chance to shock the world. All right, reminder. When Will Parkinson, who does the Turn on the Jets podcast, sent this in after week 1, the Ravens lost 24-9 at home, or the Jets lost 24-9 at home to the Ravens. They had Lamar throw 3 touchdown passes. They really had nothing. They just got hammered at home, and it's like, I thought this Robert Saleh thing was going to be cool. It is pretty cool. It was a lot cooler a week ago, but they started much better than 3-5, Will. So the idea that they're going to be playing at Miami week 18, 8-8, this one's already come back around. A week ago, I would have said this is like you totally underestimated your guys. And they got beat by New England. They play Buffalo this weekend. We'll talk about that shortly. That one is kind of a middle-of-the-pack take. Next, what do we have? This is my guy, Arthur. Artie Saber 14. He said back in week 1, Bills versus KC week 6 will be crazier than the divisional round last year. All right, I see where you're going there, Artie Saber, and you were wrong. It was not crazy. It was a good game. But, I mean, there won't be another sporting contest in this decade, I think, that's crazier than week 6 last year. So I wish you were right. And of course, the Bills won their opener triumphantly against the Rams, so they were cruising at the time. Revisiting what the Chiefs were doing way back then, they smashed the Cardinals, 44-21. Mahomes threw 5 touchdown passes week 1. It was pretty prolific. Destroyed them 44-21, and we were ready for that middle of the season game. Bills KC back at Arrowhead. The Bills really took care of business. It was a pretty good game. It was actually a really good game, but it wasn't a classic or anything. Next, out of the wine bottle, this one right here. Kevin, whose handle is, yeah, that's a strange handle, Kevin. He says the Giants will win the NFC East. See, this was considered ridiculous at the time. The Giants will win the NFC East and at least one playoff game. All right, so let me reestablish where we were. Way back in September, early September, the Giants won the opener. They beat the Titans. The Titans on their way to starting 0-2. The Giants won 21-20. And Brian Daboll had said, I'm not going to be scared. I'm going to take this job by the horns. And he certainly did. They were 13 down. And they started their streak of winning games by one score only. They won 21-20. Now, as far as will they win the NFC East? I don't think so. And at least one playoff game. We may have to save Kevin's because it's more of an end-of-the-season thing. Certainly no one is predicting them to win the NFC East because the Eagles are so good and the Giants, just came off another loss. But they're 6-2 is an unbelievable thing going into the bye. At least one playoff game. I don't know, maybe. Anybody can win anything in the NFC. It's except for the Lions. They just traded T.J. Hawkinson and they're like one of their few really dependable, reliable players. Next, let's get a hot one here. Let's get hot. Scuba Steve. CC Scuba Steve, he said, oh no, I see the words Matt Eberflus on my screen here. Matt Eberflus will have the Chicago Bears at 500 or better. All right, once again, do you remember the Bears in week 1? I bet you do. You might not off the top of your head, but I'll remind you quickly. Home game, Bears-Niners in the rain. Like disgusting, muddy game. You could barely play football. Trey Lance was out there for the Niners, a guy who we haven't talked about in weeks and weeks and weeks. Justin Fields made enough plays, and then they won the game, and they did the slip and slide into the end zone. And it looked really exciting. It looked good for the Bears. Unfortunately now, the Bears are 3-5, and so they are not 500 or better. They would have been if they completed one pass on the goal line against the Commanders, or if they could stop anybody against the Cowboys or various other things. But Scuba Steve, I love you. Not a lot of Bears talk back in September, but you had some. Next. This is a great one. PFF Grizz. The Grizz. He's got a purple grizzly bear as his avatar. This is great, Grizz. Geno Smith will lead the Seahawks to a division crown. They're on their way, buddy. They're on their way. Geno Smith, week 1. Very high profile. It was the Russell Wilson return to Seattle game, prime time. Russell Wilson goes to the center of the field during warm-ups and holds his arms out and turns like 3 times while 50 different cameras capture his every move. He's probably slightly aware the cameras were there. And he had what looked like a Listerine-colored tuxedo, I think, that he wore to the game. Never mind Russell Wilson. We've talked enough about him. The story here is Geno Smith, who won 17-16. He was supposed to just roll over and have the glorious Russell Wilson return back home. Now the Seahawks, 5-3. They've won 3 games in a row. They just beat the Chargers, the Giants, and the Cardinals. And Pete Carroll's talking his bleep. People think I don't know how to coach. Grizz, this is a really good one. Even after that week 1 win over Denver, I don't think anybody thought Geno Smith was leading on their way, at least, to a division crown. You got the Rams there, you got the Niners, and maybe he will. Next. What's next? Tad to the bone. Tad to the Bone says the Lions will finish above the Packers in the NFC North standings. So that sounds terrible, right? Well, the Packers have 3 wins, the Lions have 1. They're playing this weekend. If we get chaos, not chaos, I guess just Armageddon for the Packers, we're not quite there yet. We're almost at end of days. If we get the mountains crumble and the seas boil and the horsemen ride in from hell and the Packers lose to the Lions, then the Lions will have 2 wins post TJ Hawkinson, who's Mr. Big News Pants today. And then the Packers are just in full, they're not above them yet. I don't know if we can get there. We've talked a lot about the Dan Campbell era. Tad, you're swinging out of your shoes there, and your Twitter handle is Lions Dynasty 19. That offense looked great for a few weeks, didn't it? I'm sorry, but I don't think that one's going to work out, even if they do beat the Packers this weekend, which at this point I kind of hope they do. Doug says Trubisky will start the whole year and make the playoffs. That's probably a big fat O for 2, Doug. It's definitely a 1 for 2 at least with the Trubisky. Doug goes on. Then Steelers will knock off the Chiefs, and he will rub it in Nagy's face. I remember this tweet. I remember thinking, wow, you're really going deep into the Kansas City Chiefs coaching staff to say that Trubisky, 2 teams later, will want to go back to his former Bears head coach, who's now an assistant on the Chiefs. I don't think any of that's happening, other than the Chiefs being in the playoffs, Doug, but I respect it. Trubisky, pretty quick hook, Kenny Pickett show now. And is that it, or are we back to mine? I think we're up to mine. My predictions were, hold on, please hold. I have to remember my own predictions. My predictions were twofold. Hold on. One of them was, I don't know what they were. Oh, yeah. The Vikings will be undefeated when they play the Bills in Week 10. That was wrong. But this is pretty good, guys. They have 1 loss. They only have 1 loss. They got hammered by Philadelphia a few weeks into the season. I think it was Week 3. And the Bills aren't undefeated either. I was hoping for like a fully undefeated thing. But 1 loss versus 1 loss, I think in Week 10 it'll be 8-1 versus 8-1 in Buffalo. That's a hell of a game. We'll learn a lot about the Vikings in that game. And then you know what my last take was? This is back Week 1. I predicted, even after a win in Week 1 over the Dallas Cowboys, I predicted that Tom Brady would retire mid-season. I don't hate it. I don't regret it. I don't look stupid. He certainly hasn't done it. In fact, he's on record that he's not going to do it. But the fact is that he even had to be asked if he is considering retirement. This is like a week or 2 ago. He was asked that in a media session. He said, no. But someone asked. And now, these terrible things have happened in his personal life that I don't relish in any way and don't ever make content out of, because I actually hate people who make jokes about that. But he certainly, I don't know, I still put it this way. I'll double down. It is now, we're a couple months into the season. There's a long way to go. I don't know how far this Buccaneers thing is going to tumble and spin around the drain. I still would not be surprised. In fact, I've still predicted. Guys, that was fun. Send more. Right now, if you're watching this, tweet at KB Basement. What is the one thing right now that at the end of the regular season you are positive is true? This team will suck. This team will be great. This guy will win this award. This guy will lead the league in this. Anything. Send us to him. We'll fill him right back up with the wine bottle. We got plenty of empty wine bottles around here. That's why we get down. It was Halloween last night. That's what we do. Send us at KB Basement. What are you positive is going to be true at the end of the regular season? In the meantime, let's move on to what I hate. I can phrase this a lot of ways. I hate what the Bengals put out there last night. I said on the show yesterday, I expect them to win. I've said on the show many times, I think there's a big 3 in the AFC, and it's Buffalo, and it's Kansas City, and it's Cincinnati. I'll throw them in there. Not now. Man, they were bad last night. You don't see a team that's a lot of people respect that just had nothing. Like, that was one of those sort of unusual games where at no point during the game, I'm saying literally not 1 minute of the game, did you think that the Bengals were going to win. Not one. It was lopsided score. It was way worse than that from the onset of the interception off of Myles Garrett, the Burrow interception. You're like, this thing's over. They have nothing. And they had this really cool streak, the Bengals, where they had not allowed a touchdown in the second half of games all season, which is amazing. Nick Chubb ran through that. No big deal. Browns. Jacoby Brissett is running for touchdowns. It just looked awesome. And this Browns team, and we just ready for them to lay down and die. They didn't. And the Bengals lose. And I go back to the broader scheme of the Bengals, that there was a lot of naivete amongst the media in particular of saying, So the Bengals, they got their coaches, they're still there. They got all the players are still there. They didn't have their superstars leave or anything in free agency, so they'll be fine. They'll run it back. You can't tell me that team went through the playoffs last year and won at Arrowhead and did this and did that. They're not going to be great this next year. I've been through this too many times. I've been too many times around the globe here to know that it's not that easy. It's just not. I don't care that the players are all there. And Jamar Chase was out last night. Wouldn't have made a difference if he was there. Certainly wouldn't have won the game. Maybe it was slightly closer, but none of that. It's just too complicated. And the Bengals to me right now just feel like a bad sequel. And it's you think it's going to be fine. You have this huge smash movie last year. It's amazing, makes all the money, makes stars of all the actors, makes a star of the director. And it's just like, let's run it back quickly. As soon as we can, let's get everybody back together. And you think, all right, we're not going to make the other mistakes like other people do. We're going to make sure we have the same director. Okay, Zach Taylor's still there. We're going to have all the same stars. This isn't the case of Caddyshack 2 where, Bill Murray is not going to touch it, or it's not the case of some of these other ridiculous sequels that have nothing to do with the first one. Like Speed 2, Cruise Control. Keanu's like, I'm not doing that. No, I'm out. And Sandra Bullock's like, well, I'll do it. We'll just get Jason Patrick in here and put it on a cruise ship. It'll be great. Terrible. The Bengals have Keanu. They have Bill Murray. They got all the people. They're all there. And they even added people. Like, it's fine. It's all set up to be successful, and yet it just doesn't work. It's not the same. You can't just roll the ball out there and say, ding, 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 all the same ingredients, so we'll just pick right up where we left off. It just doesn't work that way. And there's not even a really sophisticated way of putting it other than just to say football is hard. You have to have really good luck to be good. You have to have good injury luck, which now they're not getting now with Chase. And you just have to have other teams mess up. And I do believe in some of that people play the Bengals differently this year than they did last year. And there's a different it. And Joe Burrow became very famous down the stretch. And Jamar Chase became very famous down the stretch. I think they prepare a little differently for him. I think they maybe play a little harder, have their A game a little bit more because they know, I watched that guy in the Super Bowl. And that guy walks in with cool chains on and fur coats and stuff. And like, oh, this isn't, Lions week or Panthers week. This is Bengals week. And I think that's part of it. And certainly the Browns have a whole different thing with him where they beat Burrow every single time. And we'll get to Myles Garrett in a second in the What's Hilarious segment, but he is making this little cottage industry of terrorizing Joe Burrow. And I mean that literally. Like, he is showing up as monsters to the game just to play Joe Burrow. You got to deal with that because these divisional relationships happen really quickly and they start to snowball really fast. And if you're consistently beat by one team in your division, it becomes a storyline. It becomes a little bit of this weight that you have to carry around. I just always look at Buffalo for two different reasons. They could not beat Brady. They tried and they tried and they tried. And this quarterback, not only multiple quarterbacks, multiple coaches, multiple regimes, multiple everything. And just year in, year out, Brady would just beat the crap out of them. And it was like Brady owned Buffalo when he was with New England. Same thing that was happening with Buffalo in Miami in the same division since Josh showed up. They would just destroy them, not by a little. They would beat them by 30 points. And if you can't take the Dolphins seriously until you actually beat the Bills, which they did, you can't take Buffalo seriously. People would try to make noise sometimes because Buffalo would have like a good start or something. They'd start 3-1 or something. This the year, the Bills back to the playoffs. They got to beat New England. I can't even look at them. I can't do it. I feel that way right now. The Bengals have it with a team that's not even a front runner. They have it with a team that's like a bad Browns team that can barely get their act together and has this bizarre quarterback situation where there's just the substitute teacher sitting there while the guy who's in suspension just sits on the sideline, but he's still in the facility now and he's coming back in a few weeks. It's so weird. The Browns have all kinds of strange stuff going on, but the fact of the strangest thing is that the Bengals can't beat them. The Bengals are in the middle of a bad sequel right now that they can't figure out. And every once in a while, it's like you watch one of these movies and you're like, oh, this scene works. This scene's funny. It kind of reminds me of the first one, which is the whole reason I'm here, because I like the first one, so I gave you my money. And then the next scene, you're like, no, who is this new character? This is terrible. You know what it reminds me of? Appropriately, all you hear about is the Super Bowl hangover. It reminds me of The Hangover. The Hangover 1, sensation, comedy classic, all-timer. And then they said, you know what, screw it. Let's make all the money in the world. Let's make a trilogy. 2, fine, okay. 3 was terrible. It was unwatchable. Same director. They're all there. Cooper's there. Galifianakis is there. Ed Helms is there. The guy who gets married in the first one, whose name no one really knows, is there. It just doesn't work. It doesn't. Ken Jeong is there. Same Todd Phillips directing the thing. Zach Taylor. It doesn't work. They lost it. They came off track. We're looking at a little bit of a Hangover 2 with flashes of Hangover 3 from the Cincinnati Bengals, who are actually the living embodiment of the Super Bowl hangover, while the thematic embodiment of the Hollywood hangover. Crazy how it works that way sometimes. And I hate it. I like those guys. Burrow, Chase, Taylor, likable guys, but I hate it. Let's get, though, the exact yang to that yin. Let's get to what I think is hilarious. Come on. Do you have ambitious hiring goals for the last quarter of 2022? With a powerful hiring partner, big goals are no big deal. You need Indeed. Indeed is the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. Join over 3 million businesses worldwide using Indeed to hire great talent fast. Start hiring now with a $75 sponsored job credit to sponsor your job post at Indeed.com/basement. Offer good for a limited time. Claim your $75 credit now at Indeed.com/basement. Need to hire? You need Indeed. People who like Halloween love Halloween. They're in this day and age of where we're all kind of run through Instagram and pictures and approval and rating. There's no one who's like kind of okay on Halloween, in my opinion. Very few, if any. And when people like it, they love it. Do you know who's someone who loves Halloween? The guy who's 3 houses down from me. That guy loves Halloween. Crazy over-the-top costume. Crazy over-the-top lawn decorations like we talked about last week. His name is not Terry. I changed the name to protect the innocent. And you know who else loves Halloween? Myles Garrett is way into Halloween. It's like almost problematically so. So he shows up to the game. You probably have seen this. A lot of guys wear costumes. A lot of guys put on a mask. That's a lot. That's Myles Garrett. So if you just break down this costume, he's doing the Vecna thing from Stranger Things, which is perfect and great, but like it's not just he got the mask from the Spencer gifts. He really went after it in the sense that he has the full headgear down into the neck gear. He's got the hand things. He has the shirt with the burn holes in it, and it appears to have an upper body torso thing too. I'm actually a little bit surprised that he didn't just do the full no clothes like Vecna, just my entire body is burned and charred so I don't have to wear clothes thing. And he's just so into it. The arrivals for the Halloween game caliber costumes are like reaching this Met Gala sort of mixed with Kardashian type level of commitment. That is a lot. And then you think, man, if he really dresses that way, going to a football game. And I have to credit Myles Garrett. He had a great quote afterwards when, you played so great. How'd you do that? And I'm paraphrasing, but he was like, look, if you come to the football game dressed up as a character from Stranger Things, you better make some plays. And he's so right. And he did. But you see him like that and you're like, man, wouldn't it be crazy to know what his house looks like? I bet he has unbelievable decorations. Oh, we know what his house looks like because Myles Garrett cannot wait to share with you what his house looks like. And I'm just going to talk you through this. That appears to be, I don't know what the hell that is. That is his door. All right, and here's the Myles Garrett home, which I'm sure is a great place. Looks like it's maybe a 6 or 7 bedroom. He's got the uplighting, the strobes. There is the Stranger Things letters on the board that Winona Ryder does in season 1. Then he has graves for all the quarterback he's going to sack, and he's done this in the past. Smoke machines. All the time I'm a little alarmed that like he's so casual about showing people where he lives. Like he's a public figure. All right, and then this. A full-on Joe Burrow, I guess that's an effigy or a dummy, with a Bengals helmet, a Joe Burrow uniform, at the Vecna being held up by the tentacles. So I just see this and I'm like, man, my first, second, and third thoughts are like, don't you want to not have people see where your house is? Like you're a Brown. Aren't they going to be mad at you if you miss a play or something or lose to the Steelers? I don't know. Maybe he's behind a gate. I'm sure he is. So then, but more importantly, man, there's zero subtlety at all in the time when no one wants to say anything negative at all about any other player and they're so great, they're so great, they're so great. Like he just straight up has Joe Burrow up there along with gravestones for the other guys he's going to sack. But I can't get past the idea that he does that. You are a clown if you put that up there and Joe Burrow has 450 yards on you and you don't make a play and you lose 37-10. You're a clown. It's just such a terrible, terrible look. But if you do it and not only dress like Vecna, but then kind of become Vecna to the Bengals in the sense that like you're haunting them and there's the clock chiming, like the clock in his head as a quarterback, and he's reaching for the headphones that don't work, and it's just I'm so blown away by the commitment. And you know me, if you listened last week, I kind of give an eye roll to the person who goes too hard on the Halloween decorations, in which they turn their front yard into this R-rated Smithsonian, which they just want to let everybody know that they're the craziest and they're the darkest. And so certainly has some of that going on. But man, the fact that he can back it up like that is so strong, and like that's really stakes. The players, they don't gamble on games, or certainly not allowed. That is in essence gambling on the game. Putting up the quarterback that you're facing on national television and just being like, I got this guy. And when you sack me, like, yeah, I got your jersey hanging over the front door of my house by my koi pond, and I'm just going to sack the crap out of you. They probably don't have koi ponds in Cleveland. But it is just hilarious. And I want him asked about that more as this coming weeks, because it seems like if you were Burrow, are you like, dude, get my jersey down from your house? That's kind of, or do you think it's funny? Burrow usually rolls with everything, so he probably thinks it's funny. But I mean, I just wonder if you looked at a different thing, if it was like, what if it was a New York Jets? It was Quinnen Williams, and he shows his house in New Jersey or whatever, and there's just this big Josh Allen jersey just sitting there, like hanging over it, like he's gonna, like with a helmet on it, or there's a gravestone for Josh Allen and Tua Tagovailoa. Wouldn't people lose their minds? Wouldn't you be so pissed? Would Josh think that's funny? Maybe we should ask him. I don't know. That's a hypothetical. I don't want to put that on Quinnen Williams. He's got his own things. But Myles Garrett, you do it, you back it up, and thank God you did, because I feel like that was the biggest bet you ever made. And now you beat the Bengals every single time you play, so you can keep doing it. Leave it there for the whole season. Leave it there for Christmas. Put a little Joe Burrow beard on it. Have a Joe Burrow turkey. Whatever you want. Just year-round. Uncle Sam hat in the summer. Anything. A leprechaun costume. Because you beat him every time, dude. And if I was him, I'd be scared of it. He might be. That's what's hilarious. Myles Garrett. Can't wait. See you next Halloween. But in the meantime, we just mentioned them. All right, get him in here. Get Josh in here. It is time for number 17 of the Buffalo Bills, his weekly Tuesday visit. I cannot wait for the Shining review. Here we go. It's Josh time. Starting your own small business can be a total roller coaster. Between all the bumpy twists and turns comes the actual business side of your business, which can really throw you for a loop. Luckily, with QuickBooks, you can manage your business with confidence from the start. So no matter how bumpy the ride gets, you can always stay on track. New business? No problem. Success starts with Intuit QuickBooks. Learn more at QuickBooks.com. And there he is, Tommy Shelby, the Joker. We'll get a cameo from Sky soon. And then we got our guy, Josh Allen. What's up, dude? How's your Tuesday?
Tuesday's going good. Just got a massage. Yeah, it's been a good last couple of days.
Is the Tuesday massage, is that your routine you do every week?
Yes. Yep. I got the same one. It's more so just to get the body going, because took a few hits on Sunday night.
Well, see, this is why you're just getting so good at everything. You bring me right to the first question. Early on, there was a game between the Bills and the Packers, and you made like a crazy run to get down to the 1 yard line, get rocked by Rasul Douglas, get up, full smile, maybe even a laugh, and you're mic'd up, and we all hear you say afterwards, I love that bleep, the S word. I love it. Explain for people who don't know, like, why do you love getting rocked like that? Why would you say that?
I wish I could tell you the exact answer. I'm not quite sure. In high school, we had our head ball coach, Coach Magnuson, always said, you got to be a little sick to love this game. I guess I'm just a little sick, And the mic'd up deal, I've never been a fan of being mic'd up. So I've always told my PR department, or our media department to not tell me and just to try to hide it. So I actually had no idea I was mic'd up. So I'm a little worried what they're going to put out. So I'm not quite sure what I was saying throughout the game. I wasn't really paying attention to what I was saying. So I didn't really know I was mic'd up. So we'll see. It'll be fun.
Because I've learned over the years that part of the conduct when you are mic'd up, at least when is that sometimes you'll be like to your teammates, yo, just FYI, dude, like I am mic'd up, so don't be starting telling me about your personal life or anything you don't want to know. Like that's really the etiquette. So, but you don't have the luxury of doing that because you want it to not be known.
And that's the problem. The dilemma that I had and this feeling I had and not letting my teammates know, because I usually would walk around like, hey, feds are hot. So just let them know, like, all right, I'm staying away from Josh today. Not going to be saying what I usually say on game day, but I guess this is the most authentic version of me that people will see. So I'm nervous at the same time, excited because I sometimes I black out and don't really know what I'm saying.
I know, but that's what makes you fun. That you're the guy who loves football so much, and your high school coach is right, and you do love it. When you take one squarely on the pads, like it actually does in a weird way feel good. It just lets you know that there's contact. Do you have, like, if I were to ask you, what is the hardest hit you've ever taken in the pros? Do you remember it? Do you have an answer for that?
I couldn't tell you the exact one. Obviously, Jadeveon Clowney and Merciless back in my rookie year, they got my elbow pretty good. I threw the ball and ended up hurting my elbow a little bit. That's the one that I remember the most. That like I physical pain. There was one in junior college. I was actually one of my first plays in junior college. I didn't start the first couple games. I got thrown in there right before halftime, and I threw a ball and I got hit right in the chest and my eyes, like I literally couldn't see straight. But it was like I got hit, like it wasn't hitting the head. I was just so I couldn't breathe because it hit me in my chest. So I'm trying to get my breath, and we did signals on the sideline. So I'm looking over to the sideline, and I'm like, I look at my running back. I'm like, you're gonna have to tell me the play because I can't see what coach is signaling right now. So that's the one I think I remember the most out of any of them, and it wasn't even that hard of a hit. He just got me right in my chest, and just kind of all functions went haywire.
Did Reedley College win that game?
If I remember correctly, we did.
I bet you did. It's cool. I bet you did. I love stories from that era of your career. It's just so unique. We've talked about you jumping over guys, and now you get rocked. It's obviously they were playing some hard football. You know what else I'm here for, dude? The thing that you've got going now. I've talked about this a lot on the show. I'm just like kind of over the gritty. It's just so played out, and everyone's done it a million times. I'm a big fan of Josh Allen running to the sideline and Jordan Phillips hoisting him like he's a baby over his head. Dude, it is awesome. Tell me what it's like and how did this start?
I honestly don't know how it started. Every time I come off the field, he's right there on the sideline doing this to me. And so I'm like, all right, I guess I'm doing it. Yeah. And I just kind of run over there, and it's just kind of a thing, especially like I think it's more so home games or like when some good plays are happening, he gets pretty excited. And he's my locker mate. We play a lot of Call of Duty together too. So we got a pretty good relationship, and obviously we missed him the last couple of years when he wasn't here, but we're extremely happy and excited to have him back. And he's been making some plays. It's been awesome to watch.
What's your Call of Duty style? Like how do you get after it? Like there's the campers, there's the aggressive ones. Like what's your style?
I'm the team motivation. Like if you need ammo, I'm dropping my ammo for you. Like I'm there to pick you up. I'm not very good at it, and I really just play so I can have some brotherhood and togethership with my teammates and my friends that I don't get to see or speak to all that often. So it's a good way to keep in touch with some old friends. But yeah, I'm not good at all. Like I'm terrible at the game. I like to have a good time. It's just going on there really talking crap to the opposing team when it's on the start menu or whatever it is. And I get after. That's probably my favorite part is the crap talking from the opposing team. We get after it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. And listen, I'm here to tell you, dude, like you don't really want the starting quarterback to be that great at Call of Duty. Like that's fine if you're not that good. And it is so on brand for you as a teammate to be like, Look, if you need some ammo, I'm here for you. Like, I'll give you anything. A shirt off my back. That is like the perfect Josh Allen answer. I believe it, and they probably love you for it.
I get a lot of invites. I'm always with a group of players, so I guess I'm doing things the right way, even though I'm very
Let's
bad at the
invite
game.
Josh. He sucks and he always gives us his ammo. It's a perfect teammate to bring in. I get it,
Seriously.
dude. I totally get it. We talked a lot last week about we have from our own perspectives like a mutual admiration for Aaron Rodgers in our own different ways. Any memorable exchanges with him before the game, after the game? I know he means a lot to you.
No, we were running up the sideline pre-game. We just kind of gave him a tap, and we just kind of walked in together, shared a couple words. But no, he's awesome. I really appreciate him, and I called him last week because I don't know if I told you. Did I tell you about I was at the Padres game. He texted me like, "You're a poser. You're not even a Padres fan. Like, what are you doing?" So I FaceTimed him,
Perfect.
and we talked a little bit the week prior. So, I'm hoping I sent him one of my jerseys in hopes that maybe he sends one back so I can frame it in my basement. But we'll see. I think he's a hard guy to get a jersey from. So maybe if we can, put some pressure on him, that'd be nice.
Oh, dude, he'll get it. Like you'll get a 12. You'll get like a cool, perfect autograph and everything. He'll write something like very poetic and thoughtful on it. Like I know that'll get there. I've told you this too. Like I got to spend
Or
some
he
time
goes
with him
the
a couple
opposite,
years ago.
saying you're an idiot because of your movie reviews, potentially, of the Princess
Are
Bride.
you mean to
We'll
tell
see.
me that when you had a quick moment with Rogers before the game, he did not bring up the Princess Bride in that quick moment?
Not in that quick moment. No, not I haven't talked to him about that yet. So I'm sure we'll see. We'll
It's
hear from him.
coming. It's
Yeah.
going to be signed Aaron Rodgers and like you think you're better than me, Josh. Inconceivable. Like he'll totally zing you. That's what's coming.
Yeah, exactly.
The last question about Rodgers is that he used to talk a lot. I remember when Brian Urlacher retired. Rodgers came out and said, like, I'm going to miss Brian, like, because we're rivals, but we used to talk so much during the games. And we'd have all these conversations that were kind of competitive, but respectful. There's always been that over the years. Like, I remember Brett Favre and Warren Sapp used to, like, go at it, like, face to face, but they loved it. Are there guys in the league, or maybe even specifically in the AFC East who you play all the time, who are on defense that, like, you just kind of love that chatter back and forth and you guys feed off it? Did you have those guys?
I mean, I think Matthew Judon, who's playing at a high level, I think every
Yeah.
time we play against each other, it's always good, like good talk. It's not like the hardcore trash talk that you get from some guys. It's very respectful. I got a lot of respect for his game, and I think vice versa. Who knows? But I got a lot of respect for him, and I know he's playing at a high level right now. He's up there. Jamal Adams was another guy. Obviously, he was on the Jets, and
Sure.
he's not there anymore. But
Yeah.
we talked. We got after it on the field. I think we talked a lot to each other, and those are probably the two guys that we've had, I guess, okay interactions with.
Yeah, I hear you, dude. A lot of them don't probably have much to say to you, but I like Judon is an incredible player. He terrorized the Jets last week, and he's having like a really, really good season. You guys have the Jets this week. As a team, you've won 5 in a row against them. You've had a lot of success, but a lot of people have had a lot of success. It's the Jets, and the thing that Jets fans hate hearing, they just hate it, is when you just say same old Jets, same old Jets. You're starting to get ready for the Jets game. This team feels a little different when you look at them. Why is it not same old Jets?
No, I mean they're playing at a very very high level right now. They're extremely motivated. They're extremely well coached, especially like the defensive side of the ball. They got some playmakers that have been
Mm-hmm.
in that system now. Quinton Williams is terrorizing the league. He's a fantastic player. So we got to be ready for that. Obviously, they've got some rookies that are playing at a very high level too. So again, it's all about a good week of work. Finding a game plan that we like going into it, and all obviously it comes down to executing on Sunday. But again, in division, at their home turf against a team that's playing motivated, coming off a loss, it's a week to week league, man, and anybody can beat anybody. So we gotta be ready for anything they can throw at us.
Hell yeah. And Quinnen has been amazing. I mean, we could ask Rodgers about
Yeah.
that. He was so good against the Packers. You face great D tackles all the time. You started week 1 against Aaron Donald. Do you prepare differently when you know there's an interior guy who's super disruptive? You and I have talked about how you do your stiff arm and hold the ball away and get out of it sometimes. Like, how does that affect your week of prep with a guy like Quinn coming?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little different when you're talking about like a defensive end that's a game wrecker. When you can get a tight end or running back to chip on
Yeah.
them, it's kind of hard to do that with an interior defensive line. So it's about getting two offensive linemen to him, kind of slide the protection that way, trying to get four hands on the guy at all times. Which again presents its own problems if they want to bring pressure away from him. Then you're keeping your back in. And if they bring two, then you're hot. So there's a lot of different things that you can do, but it opens you up to being more susceptible to other things, pressure, keeping your back in. So we'll find a way. You know, I trust our guys up front. We're going to have our hands full, you know, with this defense. Like I said, they're playing at a really high level right now. You know, there's my girl.
Yeah, that's our girl. What up, Sky? Yeah, chilling.
Yeah. But yeah, we're going to have our hands full. So we got to have a good week of practice, put our best foot forward.
How about first time in your life you've ever faced this? A rookie corner named Sauce. People love this guy. He's getting a lot of hype. He's put a lot of good football on tape. He makes plays. What's it like? You're facing a rookie corner that's supposed to be blood in the water, yet you look at him and you're like, oh, damn, this guy can play. Number 4 pick in the draft. How do you even approach that with that kind of guy?
Yeah, we're 7 games into a season. I think they're 8 games into a season already. I think the whole rookies I stopped calling our rookies stupid rookies a few weeks ago. Right now they're part of our team. So once you get playing in this league, you know, I think 8 games is plenty enough time to get acclimated. At this point, you're a ball player, and the dude's a ball hawk. He's a baller. You know, he was that way in college. He got picked extremely high for a very good reason because he's playing really good football right now. And again, we got to find ways to get our ball to our playmakers and keep it away from their guys. And, you know, made some bad decisions on my part this last week, and especially in that fourth quarter. So I got to be better with that. And like I said, it all comes down to having a good week of practice and executing on Sunday.
It does, and I have a really important question. This is where we live here in the basement, dude. What is Josh Allen's personal favorite sauce? You an A1 guy? What do you think?
So I was gonna say A1, and I don't particularly like it with my steak. I actually like it with my fries. So when I go to a nice steakhouse, I ask the waitress, I'm like, hey, do you guys have A1 sauce? And please let the cooks and the chefs know, it's not for the steak. The steak's great. I just love it with my French fries. So yeah, I might have to go A1. That's probably it's probably my favorite. Or
Dude, let me tell you,
the JA17 sauces, the barbecue and the mild hot sauce sold at Wegmans, How can I
sold
that?
Exclusively at Wegmans. It's kind of similar, Josh, to the JA17 blend, which is also sold exclusively at Wegmans and goes to a very good cause. Every single penny. Am I right?
Everything, but I see absolutely zero revenue from the sauces, the coffee blends, everything else. So that all will go straight to the Patricia Allen Fund at Oshai Children's Hospital.
The best. And I love that you do that, and we will continue to talk about that all season. Let me just close the book on this before we move on. I love A1 sauce. There's no shame in loving A1 sauce. There's no shame in putting it on a steak. It's delicious. I still do it. I don't care if that makes me some hillbilly or something. Josh, you can just nod if you do it too. I put it on a steak. It's good.
I do it every once in a while. Facility, sometimes it needs it. And I grew up on A1 sauce. That's something we had in our household all the time. Yeah.
All right. I love to hear it, and I'm with you on that. Last question about the Jets, and then we got to get to important business. Zach Wilson, young guy, first round pick, coming off a week in which he openly struggled. Dude, he's taking a lot here in New York City. He's taking a lot of criticism. It's time to bench him. It's time to move on. You watch a lot of ball. You know a lot of ball. What do you think when you see him?
Well, again, I think it's a guy trying to make a play. And I was at that same position, I threw 3 picks against the Patriots my second year, and that's kind of the game where it all clicked for me after that game. So you can take that for what it is. I think again, I've had a lot of different talks with Zach along the way, and seeing him here at an event there, he's such a good dude. I do really appreciate how he is as a person. He's a guy that guys can get behind and really follow. Sometimes, again, it takes a little longer. It took me a while to kind of understand the nuances of this game and try not to do too much. So I think that's kind of what it comes down to, of not trying to do too much and allowing you to trust your guys on the field with you. And I don't want to give them too much advice, before we play them. So maybe next week we can have a longer talk. But again, guys got to go out there and play football, man. Like we can't think about making mistakes, because that's ultimately when you do make mistakes, and you just got to go out there and just got to go ball.
It's really cool. 3 interceptions against the Patriots in your second year. It's exactly like him. And look where you are now. It's really, really good perspective. We have to get to this. So I always respect about you that you're very, very modest, and you're genuinely down to earth. It's not an act. It's how you were raised. And yet I'm going to test that here. In the great state of Maine, there is a town called Westbrook, Maine, and apparently got a lot of Bills fans, and they're having an issue that's made the news cycle. People are voting for you for mayor. They're putting lawn signs out there that say Josh Allen for mayor, and it starts as this joke, but it's not a joke now. The official town Facebook, listen to this. They had to make a posting that said, "Please note that Josh Allen is the quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. He is not a candidate in the city of Westbrook, and votes cast for Josh Allen will be counted as blanks." They got to be like, enough with this. So Josh, you have a lot of support there. Any message to your supporters and your people and the people who are voting for you?
Thanks. I appreciate it. But I don't know if my job will allow me to be mayor of your guys' city. I appreciate the thought, though. But typically when a city is going to do that, it's kind of like the whole Harambe thing, right? When you tell people not to do it, they're going to do it even more. And, we miss her. I don't know how this got brought up, but it got brought up in our quarterback room, Harambe, not too long ago. Yeah. And I don't know if you remember the gorilla that got shot. But Case Keenum didn't really understand how big of a deal it was. I was like, no, I think it actually we might have been talking about this. I was like, yeah, Harambe almost got voted for mayor too. So it is what it is. It's cool. But usually, I think Elon Musk said this, when Dogecoin was kind of coming out, and he says typically when it's like the parody coin or the parody thing, that's typically what people kind of gravitate towards too, because it's like some relevance in people's lives, and it ends up being kind of the top dog. But again, I will not be mayor of what'd you call it, Brooksport?
Yes, it's Westbrook, Maine. Westbrook, Maine.
Yeah. Although maybe someday. I won't rule it out.
You don't know. Maybe he will. Josh has a lot of football to play and a lot of media to do. I think we can call this our best session because we've hit A1, we've hit Harambe, which I didn't know we'd get into a Harambe conversation today, but it was like Harambe was killed because the kid fell in there, and everyone's like, why did you have to kill Harambe? He didn't do anything wrong. That was 2016. Like, you were still in college. But Harambe ran the country for a while. It was everywhere. It was big. And I'm a big meme guy. Like, I don't know if you saw my recent post with the Bills about being the social media intern. I love my memes, and I remember that was a big thing back in the day. It was massive. All right, it's time. Here we go. The 2022 Josh Allen Film Festival. Josh, let's bring it up. We're going to go through the ratings, and I have to tell you this. There is a writer, as we see the grades, everything from an A for Shawshank down to a Princess Bride C. There is a writer for Yahoo Entertainment, Kevin Polloway, and he writes for Yahoo, dude, a legitimate outlet. Josh Allen is not only the most exciting and daring player in the NFL, he's also the most exciting and daring film critic. So this thing is catching on. And you know what we're getting to today? We're getting to a little movie from 1980 called The Shining. It sounds a little like this.
Here's Johnny.
Okay, you saw it. What did you think of The Shining? This is kind of a big one.
It's a very big one. I think it's quite possibly the greatest horror film ever made. And I think it's not like a jump scare movie. It's kind of like the isolation that John Torrance has, and he's kind of going mad, and his son's seeing these different things, and the two girls, and then the blood running through, and the red rum. And there's a lot of things that I didn't realize, like when he freezes, and I've seen that picture, that meme of him frozen, and I never knew what it was from. I thought it was from a comedy movie. I didn't know it was from this. So it's still very relevant, like even in today. And I don't know, what was it, 1980? So it was awesome. I thought the shots were really cool. And I saw a video a while back how they created the blood through the hallway scene. There's like a little miniature version. I don't know if that was real or not, but it's crazy how like it was shot in such a good way. I'm giving this an A. Like again, it wasn't like a jump scare thing, but it was just like this eerie isolation movie, and you can feel him going mad, and like the division between him and his family. It was pretty. I wouldn't say cool, but it was a cool how they shot it. And I thought Jack Nicklaus, obviously, that's kind of one of his probably his number one acting performance, and that's what people kind of know him for. Was this movie, and Here's Johnny part, obviously, and then I Don't Want to Hurt You, Darling, I Just Want to Bash Your Skull In, right? Like it was it's freaking nuts, and it was just like this eerie feeling that you had the entire time. It was kind of silent, and you didn't really know what was going on. And every time there was about to be a jump scare, like it didn't scare you, but you knew it was coming. Like, yeah, it was pretty crazy.
I can tell you loved it. And eventually she comes in, and, Jack's been working and typing and working, and she goes through the page, and it's just all work and no play, make Jack a dull boy.
Makes
and
Jack a
that
dull
scene
boy,
itself is like minutes and minutes long, and the baseball bat, and you're freaking out, right?
Yeah. And again, like you just don't know what direction it's going, and you can, like I said, you can feel him starting to go mad, and you don't know if it's because of the isolation in the writing or some paranormal activity that's being pushed upon him, and and his kid kind of seeing stuff. So yeah, it was nuts.
Right. I'm so pleased, and you're going to learn a lot more about that movie now that you know it. It's a Stephen King novel, Stanley Kubrick movie, and there's a lot of controversy and theories and everything.
Because it's a lot different than the book, right? And that's why Stephen King was mad about it.
Yeah, it's a huge departure from the book. Like the maze at the end never happens. In the book, at the end, the Overlook explodes. It like burns down, and it's a totally different ending. And it's like Jack doesn't start off as crazy as he does in the movie. So King was like, "This movie sucks," and everyone's like, "King, what are you talking about? It's Kubrick. It's amazing." So that's kind of the myth of it. And then there's all these theories and conspiracy theories, and a lot of things about Native Americans, and like you could spend weeks just researching the background on it. And I know you're into that kind of stuff.
I definitely will.
All right, but first you got to get ready for the Jets, and we have to assign a movie for the film festival this week. Dude, we got a treat. This is a different week. So I got to talk to your boy McDermott on Good Morning Football. He comes by. He's aware of the film festival. He's aware of your grades. And let's roll the clip. Me talking to, on Good Morning Football, head coach Sean McDermott, Josh's coach, and here's his thoughts on the film festival.
The Princess Bride, I would bring up a little bit. And, I would love to add, I would love to see some talk about Vision Quest, or maybe Ferris Bueller's Day Off, or, Top Gun on this list. I don't see that anywhere, but talking about movies of my genre and my era, I think you got to give some respect and some love to those three as well.
Your thoughts?
One, I haven't seen Vision Quest. That's the only one I haven't seen. I actually watched Ferris Bueller's Day Off maybe a month ago for the first time. I freaking loved that movie. That was so cool.
Amazing.
Like, it was amazing. I've seen, obviously, Top Gun. That's one of the all-time classics. And most recently, Maverick. I got it right up here, right?
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
So again, I haven't seen Vision Quest. So if that's one we want to watch this week, I'm willing to do that.
And this is the twist. Josh, I've never seen Vision Quest, so we're both going to watch it. You in?
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. 1985, it's a movie about high school wrestling, which we know McDermott is like super extra about that stuff.
Yeah.
Matthew Modine, Linda Fiorentino. You watch it, I'll watch it. You hopefully beat the Jets, and we'll talk about it next week.
Sounds like a plan. Thanks, Kyle.
You're the best. Later, Josh. Bye, Sky.
See you guys.
Number 17, Josh Allen. I'll just say this. We've gotten to a point now, we're a couple months into this thing, where we're very comfortable with each other week in, week out. And with comfort comes the ability to call BS. And I was full on calling BS when Josh was trying to say, yeah, I only like A1 on my fries. I'm sure you do like it on your fries, my man. but you damn well like it on your steak too, and so do I, and probably most of you watching. It's delicious. At some point, it became just a sin to ever put steak. Now, I don't go to a super fancy steakhouse and ask for it, but if I make a steak in my backyard, hell yes, I'm putting A1 on it. It tastes great. In the meantime, how do you like this? How do you think this tastes? Trade. While I was talking to Josh, Ian Rappaport, the Bears, the Chicago Bears, just traded for Steelers wide receiver Chase Claypool. This is really happening. It's a thing. I'm not making it up. This is not a false account. And so you think, all right, so first of all, let's just unpack this. Strange, I'm surprised at least, because the Bears are in unload mode and they just got rid of Roquan and they got rid of Robert Quinn and Ryan Poles, their GM I've talked about before, is just zip. I don't care. I have a job to do. I'm getting rid of everything and building assets. He seems to really want draft picks and he wants money and he wants to be able to spend in free agency, which I really think is great. Play out this season, hope for the best for Justin Fields, and then we'll see. Well, they're not doing that because they had 9 draft picks this morning and they just spent one of them. You think, what's the price? All right, they got Chase Claypool, right? What's he got? What's the cost? They spent a second round pick on him. And if you see how this all shakes out, it wasn't the second round pick they got from the Ravens. It was the Bears' original second round pick. So the Bears aren't really good. They're probably not going to finish with a great record. So that second round pick is really valuable. Like that could be, who knows? That could be like the 40th overall pick or something in the draft. That's like, it's almost like a adjacent first rounder. Like that is a really expensive price. And listen, it's good that they're getting Justin Fields something to work with. And, I like Cole Kmet and Darnell Mooney as much as the next guy. And I'm not sure how much the next guy likes him. But I just think, it's Chase Claypool is a Notre Dame guy. And Chicago is a massive Notre Dame fan base. That's corny. I hope that has nothing to do with that. I don't care where a guy went to college if I'm in Chicago. It can come from USC or Florida State. If he can play, I want him. It's also just kind of a loaded topic with Bears and wide receivers, in that they've had a lot of big misses over the years in the draft, in free agency, and then just some that have just been fine, where they bring somebody in and pay a lot of money for them. And, Muhsin Muhammad comes to mind. He was pretty good as a Bear. He was no superstar. He didn't have seasons like he did with Carolina. David Terrell, guy they drafted really early, drafted out of Michigan. I don't need to bring all those names up over and over, but the point is like there is kind of the quarterback is the thing always for the Bears. We never have a good one, we never have. And then wide receiver is almost the second in that. Chase Claypool, you like his game? Big, strong, athletic, awesome rookie year. Kind of weird a little bit off the field. He's had a couple things that you would just attribute to being a young guy in the media, and he talks things and says things he probably wants back. But I'm more surprised just in the philosophy for the Bears. I guess the idea is we do want to start things over, and we do want to collect all the assets we have. But in the meantime, we can't just keep asking Justin Fields for 8 or 9 more games to just keep getting his head kicked in. We got to have something left at the end of the season from our quarterback when we start to really build this. So let's toss a bit of kelp to the seal and let him have something to help, a big dude to actually throw to when he's out there. So I guess my bottom line would be anything the Chicago Bears do whatsoever to support Justin Fields is a good thing. Because if that guy doesn't work out, it's just such a catastrophe. And they spent so much to get him. And you just can't miss on those first-round quarterbacks. You're screwed for 5 years. Anything they do to help him is a big thing. And it's an exciting thing. Trade deadline sometimes comes and goes. Sucks. We got our Roquan thing, another Bears deal to the Ravens, and we thought, all right, that's it. Move on. That's trade done. This isn't some cool hot stove deal here. It's usually pretty lame. This is pretty fun. It's really fun. That's it. That's Kyle Brandt's Basement for today. I'm going to end the show. I'm not even going to do the darts. I'm not going to do it, but I am going to leave you with this. I am leaving the country tomorrow night. I leave my job here, and I leave my wife and my kids, and I fly to Latvia, and then I fly to Poland, during which time I'm going to add to the project I've been doing for NFL 360, where I've been in communication for 6 or 7 months now with Ukrainian football players turned soldiers who are on the front lines, and I'm making part of this larger documentary that's going to come out at the end of the year, and I'm very, very proud of and passionate about. I'm going to be in Latvia and Poland to meet and interview their wives and children about what they're going through and their sacrifices and what this has been like, and can they see the future and how their lives changed in February when Russia decided to invade their country. So I'm going to be talking to them about that. I'm going to be going to a sporting event there and observing Poland, Latvia, and then I'll go to Germany for the game in Munich versus the Geno Smith Seahawks and the what the hell's going on in Tom Brady Buccaneers? I'll be there for that. So the offshoot of that, as far as you guys are concerned, is we're going to be off for several days here in Kyle Brandt's Basement. We will definitely be back next Tuesday, 1 week from today, for Josh Allen time. Jets, who, man, looked bad last week. But that's it. That's it. We're out. I'm leaving for Europe. If you care about that stuff, I will try to share some things on Instagram and Twitter. Follow me if you want. Don't follow me if you don't want. I just love that you're here with me, watching, listening. Love having you in the basement. It's been a great day. Everybody have a steak with A1 tonight. I love you. Miss you. See you later. I'll check in from Europe. Thanks, guys.